All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So in this video, I want to talk about William Bonac. So we've got a couple interesting stories here, specifically pertaining to William. So William went on record in an interview recently with MD Latino where he talks about the fact that at 4 weeks out from the 2019 Mr. Olympia, he actually suffered a hernia. So we knew going into the 2019 Mr. Olympia that William Bonac had that leg injury, and he also split with his coach, Neil Hill. So it was really kind of a miracle that William placed where he did, taking second at the 2019 Mr. Olympia, where a lot of people felt that he should have been beaten by Hadi Chupin. But he did take second at the 2019 Mr. Olympia, which I think was a very big accomplishment in and of itself, just knowing the fact that he didn't have his former coach working with him anymore, and he essentially prepped himself for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. But in this interview, which is cited on the page Fitness Vault, which is a kind of an online news website here, and I believe they're taking these quotes directly from the interview that he did with MD Latino following a guest posing this past weekend. They ask him in this interview what he plans on doing as far as his competition schedule for 2020. And this is where I think it gets a little bit interesting because he talks about the 2020 Arnold Classic here. And he's quoted in this article as saying, "Next year it depends," referring to 2020. "Probably we're going to do 2 shows. He's got a little injury in his legs, and he had a hernia like 4 weeks out from the Olympia, but he doesn't talk about that. That's why I was surprised I even managed to get second place. 2 weeks prior, I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit, I barely could do my training, so I guess I shrinked in. People thought I over-dieted, and I didn't over-diet. I just had an injury, and I couldn't train." So this hernia was in his back, and he talks about the fact that it was, affected his legs and his back more than anything else. So when you think of hernia, a lot of people typically think of the stomach, or they think of Phil Heath. The Phil Heath bubble gut situation that we had in 2018 was a result of a hernia that Phil Heath had, but this was a hernia in William's back, so it was a completely different situation, and we're not talking about something here that affected his midsection at all. So his exact quote from the interview here is, "This one is in my back. It was spreading from my back to my legs, so it blocked nerves, and there was no blood flowing normally through my legs. So one of them is dead. I can't feel it." So he literally says he can't feel one of his legs, which is pretty interesting. Especially considering the fact that I didn't really notice, his legs didn't really look as good as they usually look, but I didn't notice one or the other looking significantly off at the 2019 Mr. Olympia. So I couldn't really tell that he had an injury. I think he still looked very good. And again, I think that's a testament to how good Williams' placing really was. The fact that he could still take second at the Mr. Olympia, again, with no coach and with his injury, I think is really tremendous. And the fact that he's going to be competing at the 2020 Arnold Classic, I think makes the 2020 Arnold that much more interesting. The fact that we're going to have Big Ramy there, William Bonac, who is a former Arnold Classic champion. Keep in mind, he won in 2018? Now, he was beaten by Brandon Curry at the 2019 Arnold Classic, but it should be interesting to see him come back and compete at the 2020 Arnold with Sean Roden, Big Ramy. I heard that Brandon Curry has also expressed some interest in doing the 2020 Arnold Classic, going there to compete again. So that could be interesting if you have 2, defending Arnold Classic champions. Technically, Brandon Curry's the only one really defending, but 2 former Arnold Classic champions, and then also a former Mr. Olympia, a former runner-up at the Mr. Olympia, and Big Ramy should make for a very interesting 2020 Arnold Classic, so I'm definitely excited to see that. And that about wraps it up for the news today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. As always, please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. We are now at 779,000 subscribers.